YAKISOBA, everyone. I was trying to be as much as my dad as I could. Did I do a good job? Maybe. I don't know. Anyways. Well, hey everyone, my name is Beautiful. I am the eldest daughter to Tama Palangi and Tiene Samoa, or Gangyelu and Disaka. You have kind of heard a little bit about my story so far with the how I met your mother videos my dad's been posting on the channel, which by the way have been really fun personally to listen to and watch, especially because I've told that story to friends and other people my whole life. I've also heard that story a lot, spoken by my dad and my mom, but I've never to an audience this large. So I really appreciate you guys all watching the channel and giving my parents likes and views, because I think they just really enjoy sharing this kind of stuff with other people. And the community has been so loving so far, so I really appreciate you guys for that. Right now, I am over 3,000 miles away from my family, and my dad was wondering, since I'm not really on a lot of videos right now just because I am so far away, if I'd be willing to do the introduction for this video. So yeah, here I am, giving an intro, doing my best. Hopefully I do a good job. I really hope you guys enjoy this next video. I'm sure it's gonna be a good one, and maybe some untold stories from my parents' past and things that I think you'll probably find quite hilarious. So anyways, with that being said, let's get started.
Hello, everyone. Like Beautiful said, before I get started with anything, thank you so much, B. Me and Mom miss you so much. You'll always be our baby girl, and I want to thank you for taking time to do that intro for us. It was so cute, and I sure appreciate it. Sorry, people, I'm just a big crybaby sometimes when it comes to my kids. So, as you may be able to tell or not, this is not my house. I'm not even home. I am over 5 hours, like 5.5 hours away from Aseka and the kids. Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've been apart from them. But I had some work to do tomorrow that called me to go far away. I'm actually in Walla Walla, Washington, which is on the far eastern side of Washington. And so I'm having to stay in this little dinky hotel room overnight. So before I get started with the story, let me show you around the hotel real quick. All right, it's just a little dinky hotel room, TV, microwave, fridge, bathrooms down there in a closet. Just got a little single queen bed, I think. Got my laptop here. Got my backpack, which is my luggage. And then let's look out the window. So this is Walla Walla, Washington. I don't know what kind of water system that is. It has like little bumps, like little rapids every so many meters, which is kind of cool. Let's see if you can see it better and hear it from the screening window. And it is a beautiful day here. It's like 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's beautiful. All right, let's get started. All right, so this is how I met my wife. It's not part 3. This is just some untold stories that I kind of forgot about or remembered after we did both videos. So I'm here to tell you that today. And before I get started on that though, I want to say, if you're watching right now, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It's free, totally free, trust me. It's free to subscribe, to like, to hit the bell, to comment, all that's free. But guess what it does? It helps the channel. By helping the channel, it also helps bring in income to our channel. And the reason why I say our channel is because every single penny, whether I get $100 or $1,000, which won't happen for some time, obviously, but all that money is going to go to people in need, and I'm going to film it and show you every penny I make, and also show you where every penny goes. So I sure appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe now if you're not already. So like I said, I'm going to get started in a second, but I did drive from Walla Walla, Washington. It's basically looks so different than where the western side of the state. And I am holding a little comfort pillow like my wife does. I copied this after her, holding my baby. Because, you know, we get nervous on camera, but it's so dry here and arid, and there's like tumbleweeds sometimes blowing across the highway. It's not green and a lot of trees like it is on the other side, but I had to drive over the mountain passes, and I'm going to show you that really quick. It's a quick clip, so watch this and see my drive over. I also share something that I've been practicing with you, so I hope you enjoy it. I am driving to Eastern Washington for work purposes, and yeah, so it's beautiful here. I'm getting ready to go through the mountain passes up ahead, and I will be crossing the Columbia River hopefully in the next hour, which separates Eastern Washington from Western Washington. And hey, thanks for joining me for the ride. I have been working on a new song in Samoan. I'm going to sing a little bit for you. If you like it, comment below. If you hate it and you want me to stop trying, comment below that as well. I have thick skin. All right, here we go. Sauloe eno fo mai o tafa tafa ole amatanga o si tamafu tanga ole lumanai o lo usa'u ina mai mo tatou uma eva ai. All right, that's all I know so far. Now you guys sing the chorus. All right, let's get back to the video. Well, like it or lump it, you can't unhear that, right? So let's get started. So the first thing, I'm going back to when we first met. And when I met the governor of Samoa, I believe the governor or his wife taught me how to say talofa. That's pretty much all I knew. So once I was kind of accepted into the family, and I went there all the time, like every weekend until we got engaged, I'd always ask my wife, like, can you, help me speak Samoan? And let's say she said, she would try to tell me, like, come here quickly, right? She'd say, I'd be like, wait, can you slow down? Because to me, it sounded like Mandarin Chinese because I'm not a native Samoan speaker, so it was very hard for me to understand. The aunt, though, who is a wonderful lady, rest in peace, but she would sit down with me and she'd let me try, and she'd say, sao, sao. And I'd say, okay, let me write that down like how phonetically it sounds. And I'd write S-O-W because it sounds like sao to me. And that's how I did it initially. And then she'd say fa'a, and I'd say fa'a. She'd say vave, vavi. So come quickly. I said, oh, thank you so much. And she really helped me. She also is the one that gave me that little book that you might have saw in my video where we first read the Tusi Paia, or tried to read it. And she was awesome. And I think with me and her, I talked about learning the ABCs and singing it, and maybe I should learn to sing songs. And she agreed. And so that's why I started learning singing songs, and that's why I continue today to try to learn Samoan language through songs. So the other thing, besides learning to sing Samoan songs, and I think Old Rugged Cross was the first song I learned in Samoan, but a long time ago. But my wife would also sing with me, and it was at that time I realized this chick cannot sing at all. And my wife will admit, she always tells me, and anyone else that will listen, is she says, I'm the only Samoan that can't carry a tune. Oh, bless her heart. All right, another thing that I forgot to mention, or, no one's really asked questions about it because Samoans have tattoos all the time. But my wife is just covered with tattoos. She's here. She has a ginormous dragon on her back. She has, on her spine, right on her cervical spine, she has Samoa written down. Right on the bone part, she has all my kids' names and their activities on her arms. She has stuff on her legs, and wherever, she has a lot of tattoos. And you're probably wondering, why doesn't that Palangi guy have a single tattoo? Well, I will tell you right now, I have several tattoos. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 tattoos, but they're all where you can't see them unless I revealed parts of my body that probably is not something that you two would want me to do. But the first tattoo, one of the first tattoos I got, now I had a tattoo somewhere that I won't mention before I ever met my wife that I got in Germany, in Frankfurt, Germany, many years ago. And but my first tattoo I got after I met my wife was her giving me a tattoo. I asked her how Samoans do it. She explained the turtle shell or the shark's teeth. And of course we didn't have that, so she used needle and thread and some Indian ink, and she did me like prison style and tattooed my name or her name. I have a setter right here and a little heart. Now, does it look good? Not really, but it's the thought that counts. It looks like a prisoner did it that's never been in prison. That's what it looks like. Now, years later, after we moved to Washington, and kind of to pay homage to my wife, putting her name there, I went ahead, and I'm not going to show you, so you don't have to cover your eyes, but if you ever seen like old English, excuse me, like kind of gangster writing, I know I wasn't a gangster, but that was kind of the popular way to get it. So in Old English, I have a seta all across my abdomen. One thing I'll tell a secret on a seta that she probably won't mind me telling you this, but when she gets tattoos, even in the most sensitive areas where people say, this is going to hurt, you might want to take a drink or something before you do it, she says, no, I'm good. And when she gets her tattoos, she falls asleep almost all the time. If it's over 30 minutes, she falls asleep. She is like painless. I don't know what it is with her, but she is numb when it comes to pain. She's so tough. Now, let's kind of jump ahead to after we got married and we lived in that little tiny studio apartment I told you about. Well, that was the first time she'd ever been alone, so I worked night shift for several weeks during that time after we just moved in. So she was terrified to stay by herself, and she didn't want to drive, we didn't want to drive her all the way to her parents and come back. So I basically brought her to work every night that I was there. So we were never separated. She would either sleep in the the guest lounge when no one was there, and she's actually slept in a room when I asked someone, hey, my wife's here, she was scared, can she sleep in a room? He goes, yeah. And you're probably thinking, did they play patty cake while he was at work? And I will neither confirm nor deny that. One of the other things, and I think one of the reasons why still today I love giving to other people, is that while we were in the apartment by ourselves, the military had given us money to move in and everything, but I had just bought her a ring and a bunch of her expenditures. I had no money really, and we were waiting like paycheck to paycheck we lived. And I wasn't complaining to anyone, but I was just mentioning, like, they said, what's wrong? You're not very happy tonight, Nathaniel. And I said, oh, I'm just worried. We've been making like instant food or microwave food. I just feel bad because we can't get groceries. I'm just waiting to payday. I said, but we'll be okay. I wasn't complaining, but I just kind of mentioned it. And like the next day I went to work, there was like 5 bags of groceries that everyone brought me. And that really touched my heart because no one had ever did anything like that for me, ever. I'd never asked for anything. And I felt super uncomfortable receiving something from someone, but I did it. And I'll never forget that. So I can't remember everyone's name that pitched in to do that, all the other nurses and doctors or whoever that pitched in to buy me and my wife groceries, but I appreciate it to this day, and that's another reason why every penny that we make from this channel is going to go to someone that needs the money more than I do. Anna said she doesn't need it either. The other thing I wanted to tell you about when we're in there is I wanted to start working out again. So since I met Aseka, I hadn't really worked out because, we're too busy hanging out together and we're working out in other ways, if you know what I mean. So, but I was working out super hard because I had this roommate at one time that was like a super bulky guy, did heavy weights and stuff like that. And I didn't want to get bulky, but I did want to get in shape. So I remember I got up to running probably 10 miles a day. I lift weights every day. I did every cycle in the gym every day, 7 days a week. And my big thing was I would do crunches and sit-ups every day until I got up to probably, I would say, 5 to 1,000 sit-ups a day. I was doing it. So my abdomen and my body, at least here, was Bruce Lee ripped. Maybe that's why my wife decided that my eyes were pretty. So I didn't want to lose being in shape just because I was married now, right? So I said, hey, honey, we should go running. Do you run? She goes, oh, yeah, I run. And so I went out and I bought her running shoes, running shorts, like a matching set to do it, and like a sports bra and like a loose tank top to fit over it. We got all ready, we stretched and stuff like that, and we started running. And I'm figuring I'll run pretty slow because I don't know how fast she runs. So I ran really slow, and I figured that we would probably run just a couple of miles, maybe 4 miles, depending how well she did. She made it about a block, just 1 block, and she had to quit. I said, honey, I thought you ran. She goes, I do run. You know, my mom yells at me. I run to go get what she says, or I run back, or someone's going to sasa her. She runs away from them. She goes, but I don't run like this. I said, oh, but you said you ran. That's why I bought you all this stuff. She goes, well, I didn't want to disappoint you. I said, we barely ran like 200 meters. And I realized right then that she's not a runner. And she said, oh, and she was like just pouting. She goes, I can't help it. I'm Samoan. So to continue with the things that were untold, you know, they're not big, huge secrets. They're just things I forgot. But in that bag of groceries that someone gave me, one of them was some fresh hamburger meat, or mince, as people in Australia and New Zealand call it, and hamburger helper. If you've never heard of that, it's like macaroni and cheese, basically, that you mix with hamburger. I had never had that in my life. I don't know why, but I just hadn't. And so I read the directions, and I made it. My wife was like, this is so good. My mom used to make this. It's so wonderful. And hamburger helper, you've seen me cook a lot of different stuff. I had never cooked ever before that. Maybe I had made eggs, like scrambled eggs. I can't remember. But I know that my mom never wanted me to cook, and I never cooked in my life. I always ate at restaurants or at the military, you know, has free cafeterias where you can eat. So hamburger helper was the first thing I cooked, and that's what started me on the staircase to stardom when it comes to cooking, I guess. So after we came to the States, we told you about how we went from California to Vegas. Well, before we got where we were going, we did stay in hotels sometimes, but a lot of times we would drive for 12, 14 hours before we stopped. And we went through, I believe, about 17 states to go till we got to my parents. And I can tell you right now that with all 17 states, we played patty cake there. No, I swear to goodness, it wasn't me. I was like the little lamb, helpless and defensive, and she was like a she-wolf. I couldn't drive 50 miles, and when she like, honey, can we pull over for a minute? I'm like, oh, you have to go to the bathroom? We'll wait till a rest stop. She goes, no, there's a gravel road over there next to the highway. Can we just pull over there? I'm like, okay. The first time I didn't know what she meant, but after that I caught on. And of course, still being newlyweds, I was more than happy to oblige. She doesn't know I'm going to tell you this, so when she watches this video, I'm going to get bugged. Maybe I better delete this. I don't know. I'll think about it. I may edit this part. Okay. So when we moved in with my parents for a little bit to stay with them and for her to meet them, we would go out to eat and stuff like that. And in the area is kind of country area, even though it's not down south, but it's still like a country farmy area. And we do have some Hispanic people, Mexican people that live in the area. We have some Asian people that live in the area, but never do we have any kind of islanders. At least back then we had none. So every place we'd go, like I took her to a Mexican restaurant once, and the waitress lady came over and looked at me and just kind of, Then she looked at my wife and she goes, da, 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 in Spanish. And my wife's like, what? And then I said, da, 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 da. And she looks at me, my wife, I said, ma'am, she doesn't speak Spanish. And the lady says, oh. And then my wife goes, yeah, I'm not Mexican. Like that's the only people that speak Spanish, right? But the whole time we were with my parents, whenever we were out, or when people would compliment my wife on her beautiful hair, or they had known me when I was little and said, oh, your wife's so beautiful. Where is she from? And I'd start to tell them, they go, is she from Mexico? Is she from the Philippines? they would guess everything Native American, but they never guessed Samoan. So I wasn't lying about people back in the day didn't know about Samoans who like the hidden race, the secret race, the secrets, right? So, but I'm sure with The Rock and other popular Samoan people, Tia Carrere, you know, she was, I don't know if she's full Samoan or half Samoan, but I think people know about Samoans nowadays for sure. Oh, the other thing my wife really loved when we were with my parents, it snowed so much. And that reminds me of another untold thing is when we got to Arizona, besides playing patty cake, I think twice in Arizona, but we drove northern Arizona by Flagstaff, which is in the northern part of Arizona. And it was mountainous and cold. And I always thought of Arizona like cactuses, rattlesnakes, and deserts. But northern Arizona does get very mountainous and cold. And there was no snow there at that time, but on this way driving up there, we started to see a patch of snow on the side of the road. She goes, "Oh my gosh, stop, stop." I'm like, "What?" And my wife scared me. I thought something ran out in front of the road and there was no cars around. She stopped and she got out, she ran over, she goes, "Is that snow?" I said, "Yes," and she picked it up and she made it. I said, "Wait, honey, wait." And I grabbed this big old giant VCR recorder that took the whole tape and I recorded her, and we have that somewhere in the house on some old VHS cassette or VCR cassette, and she's playing like that and she's like, "Look," and she's so happy with her first snowball and she wanted to keep it with her, and I told her it would melt. She goes, "Okay, well, I'll put it in the back seat where the heat's not on." And sure enough, within an hour it was just water, but she was so happy to have her first snowball ever. Okay, I'm getting close to the end of the things I forgot to mention the first time. So the other thing is when we were living with my parents, my wife decided one day, is like, "I think I'd like to get a job. Can I get a job at 17? Because she was still 17 at that time. And we didn't know she was pregnant yet, obviously, until her birthday. So it was right before her birthday. And I said, "Yeah, let's go put in some applications." We put in like 2 or 3 applications. And the first people to call her back was Taco Bell. So she went into interview, and believe it or not, they hired her. So they gave her a set of black slacks and 2 purple shirts and a name badge with just handwritten on there with like a grease pencil, says ESETA. And so that was her first and only job she's ever had. So after my wife's first day of work, of course I hear, "Honey, how did it go?" Whatever. I was there like an hour early, sitting in the parking lot, you know, to like wave at her through the window if she could see me. And she only worked like 4 hours the first day. And she came out, she goes, "Oh, hi, how was it?" She goes, "It was okay." And she's like all nervous. I'm like, "What's wrong?" She goes, "They were teaching me like how to make the taco meat and put the cheese on, but then they wanted me to work at the cash register. I can't do that." I'm like, "What do you mean you can't do that?" She goes, I just don't know numbers. I don't know money. I don't want to touch money. I don't want anything to do with money ever." I said, "Okay, well, tomorrow, why don't you talk? Do you have a boss or a supervisor?" She goes, "Yeah, he kept calling me all day like, 'Your hair is really nice. I really like your hair. It's so long.'" I said, "Yeah, that's a little creepy. I may have to go in and talk to Mr. Compliments," which I didn't have to. The next day he wasn't there. "But why don't you tell whoever the supervisor is you don't want to work with money?" So the next day she went to work and she told them, and apparently they didn't make her do it. So she was okay. She did her 4 hours and she was pretty good. I'm like, "Whoa, you got 8 hours now, honey. Yay. We can't wait to see what your paycheck's going to be," right? And she said, "Oh, can I go shopping?" I said, "Well, you haven't got your money yet." She goes, "Well, can I try to get one of those credit card things?" I said, "You can try, but you don't have any like credit history." Believe it or not, she did get a credit card with just working at Taco Bell for 2 days from a place called Fashion Bug. And she maxed the card out, the $200 maximum, like the first time she went in to buy clothes. So that's 2 days. The next time they wanted her to work was in the nighttime, like 9 to 11 or 8 to 10. But it was dark out because it was like the winter months. So she worked, and when she came out, she was almost in tears. I said, "What happened? Is that guy there that was complimenting your hair or whatever?" She goes, "No, but they had me take the trash out." I'm like, "What's wrong with that?" Take trash. She goes, "It was behind the building." I said, What does that have to do?" She goes, "It was dark." And my wife, who's so tough, that can give birth to children without anesthesia or anything, and have tattoos and fall asleep while they're tattooing her for hours, she's scared of the dark to go behind the building to do that. And she said, "I'm not going back. I quit." So I told her, "Honey, you can't just quit." I said, "You have to you have to go in and tell them or call them. She goes, I'm not going to call them. I don't want to talk to them. I'm not going to go in. I said, well, what about your shirts they gave you and your name badge and your slacks? She goes, we'll just throw them away. I'm like, you can't do that, honey. You have to be a responsible adult. If you want to quit, and I'll go in with you if you want, but we have to go there tomorrow because she wasn't supposed to work the next day. Turn in your uniforms and tell them you want to quit. Oh my gosh. She so didn't want to do that. She was worried about it all night. But the next day I walked in with her and pretty much did all the speaking for her, like I do now. And turned in her uniform, the thing, and she was officially done. A couple weeks later, we got her first and only check for like $41. I still have that pay stub somewhere in like a scrapbook. So, and that's the only time my wife had to work, and I think she's happy. Of course, being a mom is the hardest job, so she works her butt off doing that. Well, you know, now that I think about it, that's pretty much all I can remember. There's lots of other stuff I want to tell you so bad, but I can't because it's after we found out that we were pregnant with Beautiful. Love you, Beautiful, again. And so that's for me and my wife to tell. So part 3 of how I married a Samoan will be me and my wife again. I can't tell you when that's going to be. I have to get my wife in the right mood to do that. So I look forward to doing that and showing all you. We sure love telling our stories to people that are willing to listen. So thank you again. Faftai Lava so much for watching. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we have over 1,000 subscribers. It just chokes me up, you know, but I'm so happy because as dollars come in showing, oh, like you've earned $6 on this video from people, or it's actually from the advertising, but you can't advertise unless people watch it. So, and it's over $100 now. It's like $136, I think. So I don't know when I'll get paid. I think it's a month later, but it may be $136. It may be up to $150 then. But whatever it is, we're going to spend it on people that really need it. And that's all because of all of you. So thank you so much. Faftai Lava so much. Alofa too. To all of you. And if you want to stick around for a couple minutes, I'm going to show you what I ate today. And I wasn't wearing this shirt because I spilled a bunch of sauce on my other shirt. But I'm going to show you where I ate here today. It's one of my favorite places that I hadn't came to eat at in over 8 years. So I'm happy to share that with you. So if you want to, you can sign off now. Leave a comment. I'd sure love to read it, and my wife too. Anytime you mention my wife or say something funny, I tell my wife every time and we read it together. So thank you so much. We'll see you next video. It'll be coming out soon. Peace. So I am here in Walla Walla, Washington, and I'm going to a place to eat where I haven't been in 8 years since I was here last. It's Tiki Teriyaki Grill. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. This food is delicious. All right, just got done washing my hands. Let's go see what we got here. Move my beer. We got some Island Mac and macaroni salad, they called it. I asked her for the extra containers of hot sauce or hot spicy whatever because they don't make spicy teriyaki. Let's see what it looks like. Oh my goodness, look at that. Whole pieces of chicken and lots of rice. The only bad thing is they didn't give me any silverware. Of course, I didn't ask for it either, but looks like I'm going to be eating it old school style. All right, let's get started. All right, so I do have my knife, so I could use that to poke the chicken if I want to, but let's try some. I'm not going to film like a whole mukbang. That's not my thing. It's like, watch me eat and chew quietly, but let's put on some of the spicy. I guess I should have tasted it without the spice first, huh? Let's do that. Let's grab a piece. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Just like I remembered it. Don't worry, I washed my hands like triple since I had to be using my hands on some rice. Now I really feel like Mark Wiens over in Asia or Thailand, where you always grab the rice and grab the meat. The chicken's so good. As you can see, I don't wait to swallow my first meat before I stick more meat in. That is so good. Wow.
Oh, oh wow, it's so good. Hey, well, I do love their food, but they must be down on hard luck here because of the pandemic or something. Because I asked for a few packets of, I said, can I get some packets of salt and pepper too? She gave me one of each. I'm just going to use that for the macaroni salad. And unfortunately, they don't have the no sodium salt that I use, but I'll use some real ones. Because I am a spiceaholic and a saltaholic. Okay. Let's try some of this macaroni salad. Here we go. Not bad, not bad. Not the best macaroni salad, but pretty decent macaroni salad though. I could use this as my fork, but I'd probably stab myself in the throat. Let's get back to the chicken. This is called the spicy sauce, but it really is not that spicy. Of course, I'm like super addicted to spice, so maybe for a regular person it would be spicy. I don't know what they're doing to make the chicken taste like that, but man, it tastes so good. I need to find out this recipe. I mean, I know how to cook like chicken thigh and get it burnt a little bit. Maybe it's spicier than I thought it was. So I'm not going to film my whole eating, but I did want to show you what I got in this fabulous hotel I'm staying at. But like I said earlier in the main video, we so appreciate you watching. Subscribe. It's free. You'll be giving money to people that need it. I don't see how someone can watch this the whole thing and not subscribe. Just if you want to help out other people. Because 8 out of 10 people that watch all my video, like all the way through, aren't even subscribed. So I'm either super bad, but they do return, the analytics say. They return to watch it. They just never click subscribe. So it's up to you. But I sure would appreciate it. Make sure you like and comment and hit the little bell too, if possible. And that's it. I wish you could be here to try this chicken. Who am I kidding? I don't want to share. Alright, here we go. Gee, that is so good. Alright, till next time everyone. Face fua. Peace.